Now, this is a very another just great viewpoint. So when they're in reserve, so when they're either on the line, on the hills, in the trenches, or they get pulled back off the line and they're back in the rear and there's no real threats and they're doing these exercises and problems and cleaning the weapons and maintenance and healing up and all that. And during that time, they actually have opportunities to fly to Japan in this case. And they call it like a logistics run to go to Japan. But what they're really going to do when they get to Japan is get with some women and for the platoon, you're going to get with some women for themselves, and then for the platoon, they're going to bring back some booze. It's like a booze run. And in order to be the guy that gets to go, for the geisha girls, you draw straws. And whoever draws a straw, okay, great, you get to go to Japan for whatever it is, 3 days, have a great time, blah, blah, blah. Well, he draws the straw. And he decides that he doesn't want to go. He wants to stay with the battalion. He thinks it'd be wasted on him to go. And here's why. And so I stayed with the battalion. The thought of that girl, of any girl, was immense within me. But that was another world. Those things didn't belong here. After 5 months, this battalion, these hills, these men were what mattered. There was a purity of life on the line, a crude priesthood of combat that I didn't want to soil for a few days of pleasure. You didn't get laid up here. You tried not to even muddle your mind thinking about it. I had no religious scruples about it. Not this time. It was as if a trip to Japan would have spoiled something, betrayed the battalion and my men and myself. I couldn't imagine John Chaffee on a booze run, and for me, Chaffee was the model. So he talks about that purity. It's a real thing. I'm telling you, it's a real thing. It's a real thing, the purity of combat and of war. It's a real thing. It's an evil thing, but there's something about it.